We previously discussed the Bengali language film Chandidas from 1932. I mentioned in that video that there was a Hindi language remake of the film from 1934. I'm discussing that here today. The director of the film was one Nitin Bose, who had acted as the cinematographer on the previous Chandidas. I'm going to read out his biography, supplied by IndianCine.ma. I feel like it used to be MA, but it's MA now. Maybe I've been I've been titling it wrong over the months. Nitin Bose, Bengali and Hindi director, cameraman and producer, cousin of Satyajit Ray. I didn't know that. Born in Calcutta, learned still photography from his father, Hemendra Mohan Bose, owner of the famous Quintalin Press and of Talking Machine Hall, distributor of Pafaphone recording systems, acquired movie camera in his teens and became proficient in shooting home movies which he developed himself. Made newsreels in 1921 too, the Chariot Festival at Puri, the Elephant Hunt of the Maharaja of Tripura, which he sold to the International Newsreel Corps and to Fox Kinogram. First feature cinematographer Jagopal Pillai's Purnajamna, 1927. Cameraman on features for Aurora, Indian Kinema Arts, Sisir Bajuri, and International Filmcraft. Chief Technical Advisor and Head of the Camera Department at New Theatres, 1930. Shot many films for Debaki Bose, for example, Chandidas, 1932, Mirabi, 1933, and Atorfi, for example, Dana Peona, 1931, Mohabbat Ke Ansu, Suba Ka Sitara, Purna Janma, all 1932. Also shot Shakuntala for Bhavnani, 1931, directorial debut when Debaki Bose left the studio in 1933, a key figure in the New Theatres organisation and maker of some of its most successful films. His early work continued in the vein of Debaki Bose. First feature was remake of Bose's Chandidas. There we go, it was his debut. Later introduced a realist element, DD/President Desha Mati/Dati Mata, foreshadowing that the films of his own student and cameraman Bimal Roy, Udaya Pafe, 1944, and probably Mrinal Sen's early films. Also made successful films after he left New Theatres in 1941, for example Ganda Junma in Hindi, and Bhojpuri was one of the biggest hits of post-independence cinema. Worked with major producers in Bombay Talkies, Naka Dubi, and Minerva. Started his own production company with Dad Idil in 1953. When A. Chakravati died, Bose finished Kafputli, set up Guwahati studio in Assam. I'd also like to share information about... Actually, let's read about this film's writer, why not? Aga Hasha Kashmiri, 1879 to 1935, scenarist and best known early 20th century Urdu Hindu playwright of enormously influential Parsi theatre plays, on contract to the Alfred Theatre in Bombay 1901 to 5, and then, after 1916, to the Madan Theatres, Elphinstone and Corinthian companies in Calcutta, providing adaptations of Shakespeare. A Winter's Tale became Murid-e-Kash, 1899, Measure for Measure became Shahid-e-Naz, aka Akchuta Daman, in Hindi. 1902, King John became Saeed-e-Havas in 1907, Macbeth was Khwab-e-Hasti. Made a big impact with his linguistic transpositions of Shakespearean tragedies, feudal elements of blood ties and blood feuds, honor, sacrifice, and destiny into Farsi, Arabic, Hindu both languages, and Moorish legends, simultaneously taking on board the European Baroque's Orientalist treatment of such sources. He extended his Shakespearean matrix to several partially original plays like Nifi Churi, 1902, Safed Khun, influenced by King Lear, 1907, and his best-known play, Yehudi Ki Ladki, 1915, all of which were repeatedly filmed in the silent and early sound periods. His initial writing style followed the post-Indra Sabha convention of mixing Urdu prose and poetry with Hindustani music. Later, with plays like Pehla Pyar, 1911, and Van Devi, 1916, he started writing in Hindustani, shifting away from historicals into socials and Puranic mythologicals treated in the social genre. Bhishma, 1925, filmed under his direction in 1933, Sita Banwas, 1927. The linguistic and generic convergence helped, through his scripts, shape the films of Madan Theatres, Pati Bhakti, 1922, Paper Paranam, 1924, Dharam Patni, 1926, Ank Na Ka Nasha, 1928, Bharati Balak in 1931, which he also directed, and formed the persona of New Theatre's famed tragedian tragedian K.L. Saigal, scripting his influential Chandidas, 1934, Yehudi Ki Ladki, 1933, and writing his lyrics, for example, Prem Nagar Mine, Banungi Gar Mine, and Tuk Ab Din Beat-Hat 9. Turkey Hor, staged 1922 and filmed by J.J. Madan, 1924, cast the male Namrata Shankar and the female lead, leading to censorship and the deletion of one scene. K.L. Saigal was the star of this film. Music director Ray Chand Burrell, who lived from 1903 to 1981. Music director, born in Calcutta, son of classical musician Lal Chand Burrell, spelled L. Burrell, and early 1910s record labels. Producer of Indian music programs on Indian Broadcasting Company in Calcutta, 1927, joined New Theatres during silent era, creating live score for Charu Roy's Churakanta, 1931, and Prafulla Roy's Chasha May, 1931, and remained the studio's top composer into the 40s, although less associated with the dominant Rabindra Sangeet Tagore's lyrics than, for example, Pankaj Mullik. His adaptations of the ghazal style into light classical, emotionally charged music were influential in the recording industry, especially as integrated by his famous protege, actor-singer Kundalal Saigal, in, for example, the Saigal Masashi duet Prem Nagar Mine Banungi Gar Mine from Nitin Bose's Chandidas, Balam Ai and Duk Kher in Baru's Devdas, Ek Bangla Bain Niara in President, all remaining perennial hits. Other legendary compositions include Pani Majumdar's Street Singer, Tabaki Bose's Bidya Party, and Nitin Bose's Lagan and Dup Chaon, claimed by some as the first use of playback in India. Songs by Bahari Sanyal, Kanan Devi, and in Hindi by the ghazal exponent Talat Mahmud. Worked extensively with the early Bimal Roy, Udaya Pafe, Anjagar Ma. His musical style rested heavily on songs of large string sections with, for example, sitar and violins. In many of the songs he combined forms like Fumri, Kirtan, Akrai, and the Kabagan, invoking a 19th century Bengali tradition of cultural fusion in popular music associated with immigrants to Calcutta who brought musical forms from the north and east. Also directed an animated short, Hair Brothers, formed the independent MLB Productions with actor Shyam Lahar and Amar Mullik. I think that will be all for today. This is a very pleasant film. I don't know if I prefer it to the 1932 film. Somehow I feel as though the 1932 film had superior production values, although I am watching it in much better quality. I watched the 1934 Chandidas on YouTube actually, so do check it out if you feel so inclined. The 1932 Chandidas is also available on YouTube in somewhat substandard quality, but do check it out if you feel. Anyway, have a superb day, everyone.